From this angle, a well-placed laser cannon could destroy half a continent. Soundwave, we left something in our old base. It's very important and much too valuable to be transported by a low-life wretch such as myself. Oh, will you go get it? Fantastic! See you when you get back. Fire cannon! Soundwave is dead, you say? Oh well, long live Starscream, the new lord of the Decepticons.
The character of Starscream is kind of a staple if you're telling a Transformers story, and Kyle and I both wanted to represent the character of Starscream in a faithful way, but in a way that's not the generic Starscream hates Megatron and he wants to take his job, and it's just that's the way it is. We wanted Starscream to have different motives, and actually we wanted you to be able to see his thought process and why he ends up where he ends up later in the series. And so we took elements from all sorts of Starscreams. We did G1. G1 heavily inspired the voice. And talking about the voice real quick, I feel like his voice has evolved over time, where it started out trying to be a G1 clone, and I really tried to make it sound like Chris Latta, but as the character has progressed and as the character has developed his own identity in the show, I feel like the voice has changed. From my perspective, the voice has changed a little bit more to reflect the character and not be just a G1 knockoff. So if you listen to him throughout the progression of the series, you'll notice his voice changes a little bit in pitch, and I've noticed it kind of sounds a little bit like my Joker impression, just a little bit more high-pitched and squeaky. And I always find it hard getting into Starscream's voice and into his character, because the voice is just so different from anything else I usually do. Usually I have to run through a couple of lines of "My name is Starscream," and I have to really get into it, and some vocal effects, really help out in the Starscream voice process. So it's not just my naked voice doing it. I tend to raise the pitch a little bit to give it that squeakiness that I can't quite get with my own voice. And so I do notice he sounds a little bit more like the Joker to me. And that's not intentional. That's just the way his character has evolved and the way the voice, the voice comes out of me as I'm doing the character. So I always find it interesting to look back and see how the voice changes. And so with that being said, the character himself has never changed. The character has stayed very true to what we wanted him to be in the original when we first started talking about the show. And we wanted Starscream to be a guy who was loyal in season 1, loyal to Megatron, and was content with the way things were because things were fine. And once Megatron died, he was fully expecting to get to be the leader of the Decepticons, because he was second in line, and he even says at some point in season 2 that he was with Megatron for a very long time. So Starscream believes it's his due to be the leader of the Decepticons, even though he never really pushed for it, which I think is an interesting twist. I want Starscream to be respectful of the position and not just rush it. That's something I've always wanted the character to do is accept that Megatron is the leader and then respectfully step up into power after Megatron's gone. Unfortunately, our Starscream wasn't able to do that because Soundwave kind of weaseled his way into the commanding position of the Decepticons, and that really pissed Starscream off. So you get to see that treacherous, conniving Starscream in Season 2 because he's not happy with the fact that Soundwave weaseled his way in and took what was rightfully his. So Starscream has that personality trait that is so indicative of a Starscream, but it's warranted because the way the story is written, he was expecting to be able to command the Decepticons, and Soundwave just kind of stepped on his throat and was like, no, thank you, I'm in charge here. So that way we could do the treacherous Starscream and the Starscream who's trying to get the throne without being the generic, oh, well, Starscream just wants the throne and that's the way it is and he's going to overthrow Megatron. So I think we hit a really nice balance with finding that character and giving him ample explanation as to why he's that character. And we also wanted to have Starscream step back for a while, because once he realizes that Soundwave is kind of here to stay, he's not going to stick around. He's gonna go do his own thing, and that was something I really liked in Transformers Prime, that the Starscream was smart enough to go do his own thing, and so we tried to homage that by having our Starscream split off from the Decepticons and kind of go do his own thing for a while, so we could tell his story better without him constantly just being under Soundwave's thumb. So Starscream's been a great character, and I'm excited to see how he progresses, and I'm excited for you guys to see how he progresses.